right, call the meeting to order. Jen, take roll.
Commissioner Corbin?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Lindsay?
Here. You have attached the October 14th minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You have before you, October 20th, the agenda for this evening. Any questions?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, seeing none, we'll move on to old business. Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Authorize the mayor to sign the contract between Lewis and Clark Regional Water System and for the water facilities use. And for this, I'll ask Chad if he'd want to address that.
Yes, I can do that, thank you. This is an agreement that would allow Madison to use segment 5 of the Lewis and Clark system. If that is funding advance has been requested from the state of South Dakota for that. And if that is able to happen by virtue of this agreement, and then the subsequent agreements to be worked out, Madison could use that segment 5 to take water from Big Sioux at that point. The Water Advisory Committee reviewed this, looked at it first on June 9th, and then the commission also looked at this on June 16th and kind of talked about the concept. And then most recently at the Water Advisory Committee meeting on the 29th of September, they had recommended to proceed with signing this. The Lewis and Clark Board approved this agreement at their September meeting. And so that, in effect, is what it does. I can get into more details if you wish. Many of these items you've seen before. It outlines the terms of the use, the costs that for using it. Madison will have to pay some depreciation costs and some maintenance and administrative fee costs on a monthly basis. Talks about Madison reimbursing Lewis and Clark for any costs over and above what their base facilities would have been to make this connection happen. And then, as you may recall, Madison has a MOU at this point in time with Big Sioux that basically says we'll split those costs with Big Sioux. That needs to be further refined and worked into an agreement, but that's what the memorandum of understanding has been with them on that as well. So,
No, very good. Questions or comments? David, you've reviewed it?
I was a fairly active part in the drafting and
Fantastic.
negotiation of it. It's gone back and forth between the two entities and certain representatives of the entities, but I was involved, and I'm certainly comfortable.
I'll make a motion to approve the mayor, authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Lewis Clark Regional Water System, the water facilities use.
Second.
Hey, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Consider the Lewis and Clark Regional Water System Construction Loan capital call vote. And again, I'll ask Chad if he would address that.
all right, thank you. With the Lewis and Clark, one of the terms of the ARCA, the agreement that all the members of Lewis and Clark signed, was that they would need to approve a budget in October of each year. And if one of the parts of that is if there was to be a call for capital or a construction loan, that would have to be approved at their October meeting is generally before the budget goes into effect. And there's been discussion of a capital call for Lewis and Clark for the members to bring forth $9 million in capital. And this is part of a proposal, I'll call it, being discussed and negotiated with the state of Iowa. And if the members would be able to provide for this capital call, the $9 million, The proposal is that Iowa would provide 25 million. The other part that would, that is a prerequisite for this capital call to happen would be that Sioux Falls is found via the arbitration that's ongoing to have to participate in the capital call. If either of those items wouldn't happen, then in that event, the capital call would be null and void for the 9 million. The other part of the capital call and the motion, I should start too, there's a motion, proposed motion included in the agenda packet, is that any dollars that this, Lewis and Clark gets in fiscal year 2015, those would reduce the capital call. Right now, the federal budget with the president's proposed budget was 2.2 million, and that was similar for federal year 14, and it went up to about 8.35 million. And so that happens in some of the processes for that. If the same thing would happen, this capital call would be reduced to about 65, or excuse me,
6.8.
650,000. The other key point to this capital call vote would be there's gonna be two other opportunities for the board to basically cancel this capital call, and that would be, as you can see in this proposed motion, to when treated water pipeline contract 12A is advertised for bid, and then another one would be when treated water pipeline 12A is before the board for consideration to approve the contract. And so this is not the final vote. This is just basically setting the stage as the Iowa members start discussing this more seriously with the state of Iowa and the legislature there and such. The other main, I guess the motion somewhat speaks for itself. I can just try to answer questions from here.
So, Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
So, the capital calls for 9 million, that leverages 25 million.
25.
From Iowa.
Correct.
Where's the 9 come from, the members?
The 9 comes from the members,
Okay, do we have any
proportional.
sense that if we were to be 9, do we have any sense what our portion would be?
That's a good question. For 1 million, the city of Madison is approximately 30,000. So if the full 9 million would come from Madison, it would be 270,000. 30,000 times 9. I don't have any illusions that would happen, nor would the board vote for that, because it is so much. I think a key part of this is that, say, for example, if the federal fiscal year funding for 2015 comes in at exactly 9 million, for example, there would be no capital call. And so the other point I was gonna make, I remember now, was that we will know what the federal fiscal year 2015 amount is before these other two, the contract advertisement and the contract award, would be. And so we would have another, I anticipate full well coming before this group, or maybe even the Water Advisory Committee, and asking, say, hey, what if our capital call is for 30,000, or 15? Do you still want us to support it for those future votes? And if it's a 9 million, then we wouldn't have to even talk about it again, because that would be
A moot point.
a moot point, yes. So this is, there's a lot of contingencies in it, and you can see that from the language in the motion. It's more or less a starting point. You and the Water Advisory Committee will definitely get be kept abreast of this and get another opportunity to consider whether or not we want to ultimately support the capital call.
And this addresses the water line that goes between Beersford and in the river.
Yeah, that's what that contract is. Treated
This is
water
totally
pipeline
separate from
12A.
segment 5 that Madison is working on.
Yes, that's a very good point. It's absolutely
Totally
totally
separate.
separate from what you've heard discussed as the wheeling option in the past, and any applications, the agreement that we just approved, it's totally separate from any of those things.
Other questions or discussion?
One other question, please.
Mhm.
You said that the president's proposal, is that higher rate, which would lower, bring the $9 million down, right?
Right, as of right now, you may note in the motion, it says that 2.2 million was included from the federal. Let me back up. As the motion reads, there's 9 million in a construction load, I'm reading from the agenda packet, contribution to capital call is 6.8 million. And that's after the application of what the president has already proposed, which is the 2.2 million in here. So it already could be viewed as being less than 9 million, it's 6.8. But as had happened in 2014, it's anticipated that 2.2 million the president set forth would be raised during the processes within the approval of the budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then this is also reimbursable monies.
So there'll be one more vote when we actually know how much
Two
money
more.
they want from us, so this is just
Yeah.
to get to the point where we know how much.
Mhm.
When are they expecting to hear about the arbitration with Sioux Falls?
By the end of January, by the end of January. There's been some depositions already taken. Anticipate that the hearing will be in December, and then a decision by the end of January.
All to be completed before any of this actually finalizes anyway.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll definitely know that
Yeah,
as well.
so this is a very tentative, go ahead until we see what everybody else does.
Right. Absolutely.
Until we know the answers,
Right.
exactly. Yep.
So what do you need from us tonight then?
Well, I would go, would be a motion that would be before the Lewis and Clark Board, and so I would go as the board member and vote.
Instructing him to vote.
You give me the guidance on how you want me to vote on that.
So at this point in time, and that from the mayor's seat, it would be recommending that Chad support this on this particular vote, knowing that we have two more coming.
Yeah.
I will make that motion then. Let's keep the ball rolling. It's a tough spot, but I'll make the motion that we do consider the Lewis and Clark Regional Water System Construction Loan Capital Call vote, and I guess direct Chad to continue to act as our representative and
Second.
Hey, we have to vote in favor,
yes,
yes, in support.
in support of the
Pursuing.
Pursuing the capital call vote.
vote, yes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Approve volunteers for the Lake County Electronic Recycling Drop-Off Event. Fred, do you want to address this?
And we've got a group of softball folks that actually want to sit there and do this. They've got, their names are all listed here on the agenda, and they've got it broken out in shifts along with some adult supervision, so that'll be for this Saturday. Starting at 9 o'clock till 3.
Very good. Any discussion?
Nope, just reminding the public to bring their electronics and instead of throwing them away. I'll make a motion that we approve the volunteers for the Lake County Electronic Recycling Drop-Off Event.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And appoint to the Wider Advisory Committee Jennifer Wolf. And she is filling a vacancy that is currently on the Water Advisory Committee. And both myself and Chad have spoken with her, and she is willing to serve on this committee.
Where is she?
Yeah.
She's on the
We didn't
agenda,
say
she's
she
not
had to
here.
be present, so.
Move to appoint,
I'll second that.
Water Advisory Committee Jennifer Wolf, whether she's here or not.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Seeing no announcements or other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, thank you, everyone.